Me?
Well, good morning, Jack. How are you? Or afternoon, is it in your world?
Yeah, afternoon.
You really got the COVID?
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Are you? Shouldn't you be hooked up to IVs and have a pope giving you last rites and all
Oh,
the
he just left.
people? Oh, okay. And the boomers saying, "Oh, great merciful thing in the sky, take away the boomer coof from this young poor boy." Should there be someone yelling at the screen, "Why, God, why?"
Oh well, my father actually did start yelling. He was like, "Stay away from me," and things like that, because of course, boomers and all that, and
Right,
they don't want to get ill.
right.
But my boss was like, "Well, when can you get back to the office? Even though we have a nationwide critical advice of working from home as much as possible, but who cares?"
This is going to go down in history. I kind of look at it like the fall of the Roman Empire, like when the Romans were in the middle of the collapse or the beginning of the collapse of the Roman Empire, having their bread and circuses. Probably they had birds too.
Mhm.
Where they thought this, oh yeah, we just can never work and everything will be fine. And they go through what's it called, the Dark Ages in the medieval era.
Mhm.
And then you look back and you pull up some data and you find some records. You're like, well, look at these idiots. They didn't work. They relied on slaves and in hindsight, it's very clear what they did wrong. But while they were in the middle of it, they were so delusional and in such a echo chamber of an environment, they didn't pick it up. I kind of look at it the same way, like with the United States of Western civilization. It's like, you can't just keep printing off money. You're lucky you got the world's reserve currency. You're lucky you got all the nuclear weapons. Because otherwise you would have been in Venezuela or Greece long ago. And 200, 300, 400, 500, however long it's going to take, historians are going to look back and say, look at these fucking idiots. They actually believe because they were born, whatever, black, female, or they believe they were a gender that doesn't exist, or they had a faith or a belief that had value. Look at the stupid shit they majored in. Look at what these tards majored. They came up with made up diseases that just, I'm lazy, but they called it Asperger's or autism or whatever. Look at and they did drugs to the legal ones because like half of them were depressed. Like, oh, it's because they weren't getting dick. No one was having kids. No one was having fun. Everybody was fat. They're going to look back at it and they're going to say, see how clearly and obvious this, but we can't say it because it's politically incorrect. And so
if we ever get there,
this is going to be, we're going to have the good times create the weak men, and the weak men create the bad times. And we're going to have to get through the motherfucking bad times. And that you and I will be long dead by that time. And there'll be some historian named Jack Fapier, and he'll look back and say, look at these idiots. These morons were pig. You thought Nero was gluttonous. Look at how fat their poor was. Their poor were fat. They all had TVs. They didn't work. And I'll tell you, how come it closed down? Why is the water not running? And then they'll look back and say, look at those morons. Look at what they did. But I think the crown jewel is going to be this flu. And that's what it is. It's a flu. It's a fucking flu. And they're going to say they shut down a $75 trillion global economy for what was nothing more than a virulent flu. And okay, maybe they should have quarantined the elderly. Perhaps it was particularly bad for the old or the frail. But look at how they tied the hands of the young and the industrious and their workers so that nobody would catch the boomer coof. And they're going to look back and say, look at those morons. No wonder they all deserve to die and die in poverty.
Well, you're not wrong about that. And to be honest, the worst thing about it is the headache.
You got a headache?
Well, I had a headache like for a couple of days, but it's getting less. It's getting less.
Was this a pulsating headache or just take some Motrin?
Kind of like in the eye socket, like really.
Oh, that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, headache, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That was
headache. Wow, we better shut down the Holland economy, the $50 billion economy you guys got going. Nobody sell tulips. Nobody sell tulips at all.
Like the bars, the restaurants, things like that. That's been closed since when was it? April?
Yeah,
something like that. Right. Something like that. I mean, it's tanking. It's tanking, man. All the bars and clubs, it's insane.
The numbers do and don't lie. You look at GDP. I was foolishly expecting a V-shaped recovery because I assumed the slightest bit of adult maturity or behavior on the part of I know. You know who the governors are, or in your case, your leaders are? Do you know who they are?
Boomers.
Oh my God, the boomer coof. No, all you young people, stop your lives.
Well, that's the only thing I agree with government intervention, because, well, I'm a bit of a traditional libertarian myself. Like, okay, you fucked up, you take your own responsibility. Remember that word?
Don't you dare mention that R word. Don't you dare mention that R word.
But they really needed the government, like the prime minister, to tell the boomers, work from home. And, well, if you're working with people who stand in the way of progress, you know what? Let's have some government intervention. That's the only reason.
That is the not insignificant silver lining to this cloud. Mm-hmm. Because I've been arguing, as you know, for 20 years that working from home, telecommuting, and the internet should have revolutionized all of our economies, where we would, of the many benefits, better psychological health, less pollution, if you believe in that sort of thing, less traffic, lower transportation budgets, and I'd say cheaper housing, because you could convert all these commercial buildings and downtown skyscrapers into lodging, residential housing. It took a fucking fake crisis and panic to finally snap these dumbass managerial boomers. Like fear. It took that much. Forget progress, forget happiness, forget foresight and corporate leadership. We should just look for it. Oh, we're just so intelligent. We see things in the future. It's like, shut the fuck up with your MBA. It took a fucking quasi-pandemic to get these people to wake the fuck up, to allow for that. And so now going forward, I think there's going to be many more benefits. Dude, there are people never going back to an office. They've become too accustomed to it. And the boomers realize, oh my God, the world didn't collapse. You could still operate did you know, Jack, that you could get work done from home? Did you know that?
What? Is that possible? Can I actually start my own YouTube channel and narrate stuff from home? I don't have to go to an office.
Not you. You've tried. You're just not good at it, man. Oh, but one thing I will say, now I've known this for a while though, and that is the internet has set many of us, those who choose to be free, where I don't need we could go behind. In the olden days, you had to go through the analog in the physical world, and who owned and ran the physical world? It was the boomers. Well, now we go behind each other. We go behind their back. We go directly on the internet. We deal with it. So it was like the Wild West, where you didn't need to pay off the local boomer mafia to get boomer protection and go through the boomer channels and would boomer this and boomer that. It was like, hey, Jack, you want to trade that? Yeah. And that created kind of the secondary parallel economy for younger people. And now everything's moving out there. And so now there's actual real economic growth. You can make a living here. There's enough of a population coming in, but it took a fucking crisis to get these dumbasses and some real money behind it. But now it's a good thing. I'm happy for it, but it should have taken this fucking long.
They still don't want to. Like in the Netherlands, a lot of people are still being forced into the office.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because of what are the reasons? Team building is one of the biggest ones. I'm not kidding. Those are one of the biggest reasons. Like the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like I could care less about that. Like when I have a job, I show up, do my work, and go home. Like that's what that is for. That is why you have a job.
Your life isn't your career?
No.
Oh.
Piss off. It isn't. I seriously hate people who keep saying that. I've known them. I'm like, fuck it off, mate.
Yeah, they're called women. I got an article on this one, and it's not that funny, but it's true.
It isn't that funny. Oh, by the way, that tweet you sent out, Ocasio-Cortez. I'm like, please do.
We're going to get to it. Yeah, we're going to get to it. So,
please do.
Do they have... Now, I think this was peak boomer, okay? This was peak boomer management. Did you guys ever have, like... corporate retreats where you went into trust exercises where you fell into your, do they have that in the Netherlands, or is that exclusively an American boomer affair?
Let me think real quick, because I do remember we had like.
Do you even have people that work in the Netherlands, or is it just
we do.
socialism?
It's not complete socialist hellhole.
Here's some tulip bulbs. America, protect us from the Russians. And that's their economy.
Oh, now that I know that little fact, by the way, most of my leftist coworkers or whatever, like as soon as I have an argument with somebody about the budget, I know the numbers right now, so I just bring them up. It's like no. Like,
well,
America
do you know how to measure that? Like military spending as a percent of GDP?
Don't know that, but as soon as they tell me we don't spend enough on education, I just take the budget of the Netherlands and I look at what the top 3 costs are, and I do know that number 3 is education.
Right.
So as soon as somebody brings up, we don't invest enough in education, I'm like, well, here it is. Go fuck yourself. Bye.
Right. Well, the key thing is to convert it into GDP. So you know what percent of our overall production we spend on education, military, whatever else. But you should be between 1.5, because you can't compare Holland to the United States or China. I mean, too many people, too big, too disparate numbers. So you convert everything to GDP, and ever so roughly, in peacetime, you should be about 1.5, 2% GDP. I think the United States is at 3 or 4 because of our perpetual war and anti-terrorism stuff. And then also, let's just admit it, we protect all of Europe and Canada, by the way. Canada. No offense to Ryan Stone, who we love. Yeah, Canada. What, you think Canada's got a military?
I knew they had a navy, but
they got a navy and they got an air force, but now of course Canada, the population is a fraction of the size of the United States. But when you adjust for GDP, it's like, oh, I see, you took two dribbles of urine and that was your military. We took a big old deuce in the United States. We got this nice military, and and so it subsidizes the rest. So if you compare the Netherlands, military spending percent GDP, and then, compare it like NATO or whatever, I'm sure you guys got, but what's going to happen when you show people who disagree with you numbers, Jack?
Cognitive dissonance.
Right. And they will, in other words, nothing. They won't believe you.
No.
And then you tell them to fuck off. That's where you say, well, then shut the fuck up, you ignorant. Then you don't accuse them. You point out the fact they are ignorant. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're uninformed and ignorant. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
I just tried and stop arguing with everybody about that, really. I try. I mean, I get angry sometimes. Most of the times I do not, but I do get angry every now and then, where it's like, oh my God, here we go again. More money to the poor. Well, of course. It's like,
and they've solved it now.
Oh,
right.
Like you said, and it's a bold statement to make, but in the Western world, do we still have real poverty if everybody has a television, has a roof above their head?
We do not have poverty. Now, of course, there is poverty. I mean, there's always going to be poverty because there are people who fall upon genuinely hard times, disabled, mentally ill. I'm not debating that. But the majority of, quote, poverty that we have has been caused by largely having more kids than you can afford, single parenthood, broken homes, and people making bad decisions.
Yeah.
That's and if we stop making it's not like you get the kid or the full-grown adult guy who has genuine mental illness, or the bag lady who's yelling at clouds. All right. That is such a small percent of our quote-unquote poor that I have no problem. Yeah, okay, we better have some kind of safety net, not only for her safety, but the safety of other people. But when it's, oh, wow, Tilly, you spat out 5 kids from 3 different dads and you majored in philosophy because all the poor people. Do you know now that minority women are going to school at higher rates than white males as a percentage of the population in the United States?
Really?
Why is that bad for minority women?
Well, minority women are going to find less men there, and they're going to have Nope.
I'm talking purely economics. Forget dating or romance. And I'm being deadly serious about this.
Oh, because they're majoring in stupid shit.
Right. This is like, oh, look at women, minority women of all that, which I will admit, you are coming from a disadvantaged background if you have to be Black or Latino, because you're coming from a poorer, so your money is more important. Like, you can't piss it away, Tina, the suburbanite soccer princess, who like daddy pays for everything. All right. You're coming from a disadvantaged. So it counts that you spend whatever money the state or you save up. More importantly, your time. Like, if you're going to go to college, by God, you better go and major in something worthwhile, because you can't afford it. Tina Titsy Magoo from Waizaze or Edina, her dad's going to bail her out no matter what. All right. So you can't screw this up. And I just looked at women in general. I didn't look at minority women. When I pulled the data, 80% of women major in stupid shit. And so I'm sure it's something like 90% of the, how many Hispanic female civil engineer majors are. I'm sure there's some, but they're certainly in the distinct minority. And so this is like, oh, look, all the minority women are buying housing in 2007. It's like, you are buying into a bubble, and you're buying a piece of shit house, by the way, on top of it. And they're like, oh my God, white men are falling so far behind. It's like, no, they're wise and hip to the jive, and they're out of there. They're not buying an overpriced .com stock in 1999. They're not buying an overpriced McMansion in 2000. And they sure as fuck are going into debt for it. And so this facade, this lie that, oh, look at this, it's turned up over on its head.
Yeah, but it's always nice to hear that a new minority is going to college, and then you wonder, but what are they going to college for? And then you're like,
it's the classic. What degree hurts Black America? Well, I guess I don't know if they have it in Europe because it's such a ludicrously stupid degree. What degree hurts Black people the most? If you go to college, you're a Black guy or a gal. What is the worst degree?
I know this one. Is that Black history studies?
Black history, African American studies, where you study your own race. That is the most racist degree, and I mean that because it hurts you. You can get that information for free. I'm not saying don't study African history. I'm not saying African American history. Fine, go study the history. Go study. It's free. And that, by the way, if you didn't know, that degree doesn't get you a job. It prevents you from getting a job. You're like, oh, here's a lawsuit waiting to happen. So it actually harms the people it claims to be helping out. But who does it benefit, Jack?
The institutions.
The African-American studies professor, who basically is the true Uncle Tom selling the poor kids that take that class down the road so he gets the money or she gets the money.
Yeah, and pretty much.
Yeah. I forgot what we were talking. Oh, I want to know. So do you have those trust corporate retreats, like to build trust and team building? Is that?
Well, I do remember we had something optional in high school about that, but those were for kids who had, what is that called? And I need to, yeah, well, that's it too, but I need to translate this one. It's called, in Dutch, it's called faalangst, which roughly translates to failure anxiety.
Oh,
they were scared of standing in front of a classroom and things like that, and they had to overcome it. And I'm like, really? You know what the biggest piece of shite is in the latest 5 to 10 years?
You guys don't spend enough on education.
No. Well, that too, of course. Overly sensitive. I'm not kidding. We have that here. It's like, oh, I'm overly sensitive. I'm like, what?
Just haven't been punched in the face yet.
Oh, yes, indeed. That. Like, as soon as you give these people a gripe of honesty, it's like, oh, that hurts me. I'm just overly sensitive. No, you've never heard the truth, you uneducated dits.
Yep.
Piss off.
Speaking, well, okay, so you don't have it. Thank God. It's creepy. I don't know if it's even a thing anymore in corporate America, but that's going away. I'm looking very forward to the next 10 years, at least in terms of the labor market, to see if we even commute anymore. Because I'll tell you this, there's a group of people that are never going back.
Nope.
Especially as we get younger, when we can pick on younger people. We do that because, why do we pick on younger people, Jack?
Because they majored in stupid shit.
Okay, but why do I take the millennials, I hoist them on their petard, and I show them to Gen Zers? Do I hate the Gen? So they learn. So they don't end up like their older millennial siblings living at home at 30, asking for a bailout with their hot hair dyed green and all fat and overweight and not getting laid. I said, do you want to become that? That's what it is. So I do not hate the Gen Zers. Millennials, they're starting to get boomer territory. They're really starting to like, hey, here's a gun for the boomers. Here's a gun for the millennials. Why don't you two duke it out? Oh, darn. The communists and the Nazis fighting each other. What will we ever do? More guns, more guns, more guns, more guns.
I feel offended by that.
Don't worry. You're not part. I will make you an honorary member of Gen X.
Wow. You actually have that.
Didn't you see the video where I dressed up like the Pope?
No, I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, I did a blessing. This kid wanted to be promoted out of the millennial generation into Gen X. And so I got my stupid robe and I went to Michael's Fabrics. I got a dumb Pope hat. I got this big chain. I put the X on it. And I had a scroll. I even got a scroll and I wrote bullshit on it like, and I, King of Gen X, what the fuck I called myself, hereby decree you an official member of Gen X.
Yeah, we still need to do that.
Yeah, I even sent him a certificate in the mail. So you got a certificate in the mail. Yeah. Yeah. Latino
when am I receiving that horrible?
You have to go through the process. We have to have the music.
No. I mean the other one. You sent something over again.
Oh, I sent that in. I can't tell you what that. It's a surprise, Jack.
No, when?
When? I sent that like 2-3 days ago.
Oh, it's probably
so it's in the mail, probably. Yeah, it's taking its time. And I know this may shock you, Jack. I didn't send it Air Express because I'm cheap. I'm like, what's the cheapest fucking shit? Oh, the swimming turtle? Here, tape it on the back of the swimming turtle. And it gets to like slowly crawl this way. The postal turtle. What is that? 2 cents? There you go. You'll get it in 2027 when Atham graduates.
If,
yes, he will. He will. Shit, I was going somewhere with something. But, I did want to say I have to compliment you, Jack.
Me.
Right. Because
what did I do?
You did something for that the masculine, I'll pick on the masculine geeks, but this goes to everybody. Let's say I go to Vince or TJ or Herb. All right. Or I go to anybody else. I say, hey, you want to do X? What's the first question I get?
When?
I'm like, I don't know, 15 minutes. Then what happens?
Excuses why they can't make it.
Not lecturing, berating. Oh my God, Claire, we're not all bad at that. It's like I said, it's like I went to Vince. Now, this is just to pick on Vince, but let's just pick on Vince because we like picking on Vince. Vince, what do you do? You want a podcast? He's like, yeah, when? I say, how about 30 minutes? Jesus Christ, It's like I went up to Vince. I'm like, Vince, you got a daughter? He's like, yeah, can I fuck her? It's the equivalent offense and umbrage. How dare you invite in 30 minutes time and And I was very happy that it's you know what it's like, Jack?
No, not really.
It's like we're kids again.
Well,
when
that's
you call
good.
each other, hey, Jack, you want to go ride around on the bikes? And you pick up the phone like, yeah, when? Like, how about 5 minutes? Okay, I'll be over. Like, it's like that. We could do that. Except the Germans took your bike, so you got to go back to Germany.
Well,
Get your bike. Right,
yes.
yeah, that's true. But I was like, holy shit, this is the one thing. I woke up this morning to bullshit. Already like bullshit. I woke up not even getting out of my fucking bed. I reach over, grab the phone. I didn't even see what happened today. I don't care about the election. And already I'm like, oh, bullshit. And so this was this breath of fresh air on, hey, do you want to? Like, yeah, I'm like, oh, wow, it worked. The one thing today that worked, the 5 things that went wrong, one thing went right.
Of all things, I went right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as bad as you say I am.
No, apparently. You're not. I wanted to compliment you that you were able to, 1, do this, and 2, not take offense as if I was asking to bang your little daughter or something like that. Okay. I was very impressed. I don't know. I do have a topic here.
I'm never doing your audio again. Let's be straight about
that. You're not doing my audio. We could do short audio, or if you learn how to use a dictionary, sure, you can do it.
The short one's fine, but the bigger ones, no.
No, you're not doing the big ones. You just need to learn the thing. Let's talk about dumb women.
Wow. Woo. Oh wow! Seriously, by the way, so I had that new plate number 32. That's how I differentiate from them right now. Numbers.
Wow,
like,
man, 32. Wow, what's it feel like, man?
But this one was pretty nice. But okay, like Watson sometimes asks me, he's like, "What's her name?" And then that moment of silence, like, and then we look at each other like, "Yeah, we know. You don't remember, do you?" No, not really. Let me grab my phone real quick. Oh, that's her name.
You're doing good then. I can't remember more than 5, to be honest. I can't remember more than 5.
If I go back through all of them, no.
You know who they become?
Numbers.
Well, numbers, but they become that girl. Oh, and that girl, and the other girl. Like, oh, I remember that girl. Like, that's all it is. The prefix to girl. That's all it is. Yeah,
pretty much. But like, for sure that I can name the first 20 by name. No, 15 by name. Sorry. After that, it becomes a bit hazy. It's like that one, the one who did that, the one who was absolutely
the one I took to the movie that night, right? Oh, I took her to the hot dog shop. Yeah, there was the hot dog shop girl, and then you're kind of
take them to the movie.
Whatever.
Get on my level. Take them to the Aldi.
Hey, guess what, Jack?
We're
rich. Judd donated $2. Look at that, huh? I don't want you spending it all in one place. All right.
No.
Okay.
Won't buy gumbos.
Judd Grover, Wuhan positive. Does this mean that Jack is Batman? I don't get it.
Me neither.
You got any of the Batman Legos? Because I know you like the pirate ships, but did you ever get into like Batman Lego or
I've never really gotten into the Batman Legos. I've seen them, and they've released the 1989. Yeah, that's with Michael Keaton, right?
Michael Keaton, yeah, probably the best
one. They released the Batmobile of that and the Batwing of those movies out of Lego. They're huge, but not really up my alley.
Is Batman huge in Netherlands too?
Okay. Like, everybody's seen The Dark Knight, but it's not as in the States where it's like, oh, Batman. Yeah.
No, it's pretty much a pillar within our cultural community. I'd say. I just was kind of, I'm like, here's a guy that runs around at tights at night and probably has some mental illness. It's like, oh yeah, that's gonna sell well overseas. Yeah, that'll. All right. This is good news. I'm trying to get good news because this morning I woke up and it's been nothing but bad news. I have a tremendous amount of work to do. I have to finish this book. And then, oh, by the way, I have to find another place to live outside the United States. The place goes, totally commie. I thought I had passed the finish line, paying off the house. And now, okay, I can. And it just angers me to no end that there are very few countries that could keep their fucking shit and act together. Like, hey, if we don't guarantee people are allowed to keep their property, like that we aren't going to tax it from them in the future at some point in time. They're always going to be a little like you can't stop. There's no retirement. You just have to constantly keep going. And it's like, okay, we got this. Oh, now we have to keep moving. You have to keep going, keep retreating, keep trying to fight. Like the work never fucking ends. So I'm really fucking angry. Then I got to write this book, which is my goal, or my tool by which I'm going to achieve all these things and many other things. Got to build a house. And then all the piddly little fucking shit that adds up. Like groceries. And so I was happy. Oh, laugh as you want. It's true. It's just like yesterday. You know how many hours I got to write in my book?
3.
2. Because I can't even remember what it was, but it was shit like, oh, I gotta upload this YouTube thing. I do the pod. I gotta it's so in it. You're like handicapped, like all this mundane bullshit.
I know. Oh, I have a strange example about that. Like, when everything is going right, just the big things are going right, and you kind of want to treat yourself on something. You have this specific thing in mind, and you put out a date. You're like, okay, that's the day, that's the hour, I'm gonna get it. So here in the Netherlands, you have them too, by the way, at Subway. These white chocolate macadamia biscuits, the soft ones. You know them, right?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
So the Lidl has them as well. This the cheaper grocery store, but they're a bit bigger than at Subway's. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to cheat on my diet for 4 weeks. Not going to happen.
Wow. Okay.
No, hold on. And on that Friday, that's when I'm going to get them. I will enjoy them. I looked forward to that the entire week. Like everything went well. Podcasting, you name it, work, everything went well. I went to the Lidl. Guess what?
They're out.
They're out. It's like,
you can't even, you got the.
Can I not have this one tiny thing? Nope.
It's and that's what gets you down. It's the grains of sand in the engine. Went out to dinner, and I did a lot of work yesterday. And not just regular typey type work. Not this lame ass work. It was like, I changed oil. I did some other stuff, and so I got a new video game. I'll play my video. I put it in. Doesn't work. So it's used. I paid $10 for it, but it's still the time I had to go to the GameStop to get it. It doesn't work. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Go to dinner. Guess what? Kid crying in the background. And it's just these little cuts, thousands of little cuts, death by 1,000 cuts. And then I get home and I wonder why I'm so angry and pissed off all the time. And then, by the way, you still got to write that damn book. Or you still got to this interview. You still got to do this thing. You got to do that thing. And then we're going to go through. Would you like to do some asshole consulting today?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. We'll do that. But just so you know, not all the questions I get are cool or well scripted. Then I get in, I wake up in the morning, I find this is me. I wake up, get my coffee. I look at what shit do I have? And I'm already, my brain is already raped by somebody who did voice to text. And there's misspellings and the wrong. You thought you did a bad job reading? Holy shit, this guy can't write.
It wasn't that bad. I keep saying
it wasn't that bad. No, it was good. Except for like some, like all it takes is 6 words. And then people are like, what the fuck is that? But anyway, so I was just going through it and I'm just like angry. It's like, I've been up 15 minutes. Like, this is not going to go well.
I know. I had that a while back with my coffee machine. Like, I have a filter coffee thing. Like, first thing I do when I wake up, like, I have this socket for electricity. I put that one on, and I put the coffee machine on. So one morning I wake up, I do that, put the coffee machine on, go downstairs, make breakfast, come back, no coffee. Apparently, it was broken. Like,
new coffee machine?
No, old one.
Oh, old one. Okay.
I got a new one for $15.
That's good. That's good.
No, but seriously, like, you want to start your morning, you have a
Yeah,
routine, you've got everything in place.
Now you got to go get a new fucking coffee machine. Ours just broke down. We're getting a new one in the mail today by the postal delivery turtle. He's taking his time.
Because you're cheap.
Slow but sure. He'll get here. He'll get here one of these days. But yeah, it's I don't think the average person just wants to tread water. They don't want to excel. They want to progress. They don't want to advance. And I've said it before, you cannot get ahead on a 40-hour work week. You have to work up enough money to survive, pay for your food, clothing, and shelter. But then you need to work more, have a side hustle or something. You have to go above and beyond. Then to get the extra money to pay down your debts, get out of debt, pay down your house, all this other stuff. And when you start to do that, it's no different than an engine. You need a very viscous oil, very high quality oil. There cannot be any friction, and just small piddly shit like that just taxes the ever living. Because if I was a normie, conforming, inferior, doing my 40 hours a week, I get back and I'm perfectly okay watching TV for the remaining 4 hours before I go to bed. I guess I could go down to the Walmart and get a coffee thing. But it's like, no, not only do I got to get this house built, I also got to get enough money overseas now and save up enough money so that no matter what happens, I'm not starving. I'm not worried about like everyone confiscating or getting herded into a cattle car.
Did you check your crypto, by the way, if you want some good news?
What happened to crypto? No, I haven't. Is it up?
Whoa!
What happened to Bitcoin?
Oh, go look.
Hang on, let's take a look.
Ooh, you're going to like that.
I'm going to like, okay. Because that was one of the many seeds I threw out. Whoa. 1 month. It's up almost 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Do you know what crypto really is, Jack?
A fuck you to the government.
Yes, it's called capital flight.
Mm.
And every time something looks a little bad in a particular country, those people go and buy up cryptocurrency. Because India cracks down on gold or silver exchanges, Venezuela decides that nobody owns anything anymore. I think that is going to be the conduit by which a lot of capital flight occurs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I saved some Bitcoin. I'm very glad I saved some.
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
me too. Very glad.
Yep. So that is good news. All right, let's go into some good news here. Ocasio Cortez says she's thought about freezing her eggs. We have to make these choices that men simply don't have to make.
Please do.
This is one of those knock yourself out.
Oh man, you go. But have you seen her boyfriend? Like, if I was dating a guy like that, I wouldn't want. Ugh.
I have seen it, but this is such good news that the fact it's the woe is us, we're not men, doesn't even faze me. It doesn't bother me.
Wow.
Because it is so proof positive that this girl in particular, who I think is a particularly vile and evil and parasitic woman, it's here. It's this.
Yeah.
I don't care how much bravado or how much she goes in. You know, man, deep down inside, she's like, because that's 2 million years of human evolution and genetics just screaming at her. And if she wants to go ahead and get the eggs frozen, by God, and she wants to empower women to do so, by God, all you women go do it. I'm very happy. Go.
Yeah, please do. Like, do you think, because it made me wonder a while back, because I saw these raging feminists demonstrating in the streets again about abortion and things like that and doing weird things. And I'm like, what if we grant all of them abortion? Like, will they be outbred?
No. I'll explain this again. I'm surprised I have to explain this because I thought everyone kind of on my team knew. But that's right. You're new. You're all 14 years old and you just hit puberty.
Your argument was education, right?
Yeah. Liberals are not born. Leftists are not born. They are made. A little kid comes out, just wants to play with toys and be itself. Okay. So even if feminists do not breed, the kids will grow up. It'll almost be the opposite. I'd say it's almost like religion. If you're brought up under a pastor or a feminist, you'll become the opposite in revolution or retaliation. But the kids are made, the liberals are made while they're in kindergarten through college. That's where they're made. So it doesn't matter whether feminists breed or not. It doesn't matter who breeds or not. It's if everyone goes to college or everyone goes to school, they will be indoctrinated into becoming leftists. So it's not like, oh, the leftists are going to not breed anymore. It's not genetic. It's not passed along genetically.
Okay. So like only the kids who go into either STEM or the trades will.
Not even the trades, maybe, because that's real work. But even STEM, I mean, I've seen bits and pieces. Now, this is to say it's all people, but to give you some anecdotal evidence to show you it doesn't matter if you major in STEM. But Silicon Valley, all those software engineers, dudes, right? Guess how they vote?
All Democrat.
All Democrat, right. Our Ashkenazi Jewish agent in the field sent us a request. He's in San Francisco. He ran into a medical doctor, real doctor, not PhD in psychology or sociology, like a real medical doctor, very intelligent woman. And she's like, oh, we got to make up for 400 years of oppression. That's another example of STEM, incredibly intelligent, but she swallowed the Kool-Aid whole. And then if you go online, well, I'll give you even two more instances. Feminist doctors, there's a Twitter feed or hashtag or something, like a group called Feminist Doctors. What do you think they put more value on, Jack? The fact they're feminists or the fact they're fucking medical doctors?
I think their ideology.
Their what?
Their ideology. Like
yes. Yeah. They're all about feminism and, oh, maybe we're doctors too. I'm like, Jack, let's say I was a polo player and I was an astronaut. What do you think I'm going to tell you about?
Polo player.
No. Or I'm a
mean shot, mate.
I'm an Austrian libertarian, an Austrian economist libertarian, or I'm an F-15 fighter pilot. What do you think I'm going to tell you about?
The fighter pilot.
Yeah, I'm the fighter pilot. But man, they all this amazing amount of effort, this incredible amount of intelligence and brilliance, and they focus on a fucking belief, a choice that took no calories of energy. And then also women in STEM, you're like, yeah, women in STEM. You know what it sadly is? It's not about women in STEM and technology and advancing their career and the contributions they could make. It's about their fucking vagina. It's about feminism. It's like, does it have to taint everything? Must it infect and disease-ridden everything?
I think it does. And I mean, I know you don't care about the elections, and I'll keep this short.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a small thing coming by that now a certain court has all women. And instead of them praising like these are well-established politicians and they've done a lot, no, it's
judges.
It's all women.
Yeah.
And I don't know the exact thing what it was anymore, but it was just like, oh, now it's all women. It's like, okay, but what? Why does this matter?
Why should we encourage? If we really wanted to hurt them, why would we encourage it? Or if we don't really care, why should we just let it go and ignore it? Why should we not care about Ocasio-Cortez if she gets her eggs frozen? Or if she convinces hundreds, well, not hundreds, tens of millions of American young women to get their eggs frozen? Why should we at least not be concerned? Or if we wanted to be malicious, we'd encourage this.
Because they will never be happy.
It will ruin their lives. They will never be happy. It will turn them. Is Hillary Clinton happy?
I mean, have you ever actually thought about that? I mean, keep that, like, give that a thought experiment for about 5 minutes, and you will realize how miserable that woman is. I mean, how much do you think she raised her own daughter? Why the hell?
Nine. No.
Why do you think Bill cheated?
Well, duh.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, let's be serious. I mean, but
what's one of the few fun things I have in my life, and I'll give you a hint. If they behave well, it's endearing and wonderfully fun.
Lucifer and Geronimo.
Okay, I get to spend time with my little. Well, you saw the picture. I sent it at the trick or treating. One zonked out, and the other one's like, hey,
that was so adorable.
Yeah. Now, not to get all soft on you people. Do you think I would give a shit if I was a senator versus hanging out with Lucifer or Geronimo? Fuck, you gotta go be a senator, gotta deal with politics, all these assholes, all these dickheads. I'm like, oh, hey, for $5, dude, everyone loved them at the bar. We went on adventure. I took them on adventure. And you know where adventure is?
The ice cream store.
And anywhere. You could go anywhere there's adventure. So I take them to the local bar and we sit them up. And they got kitty cocktails with maraschino cherries and ice cream, and ice cream, and they loved it, and everybody loved them, and with dude. Oh, and then you got Ocasio-Cortez, whatever. Like, I gotta do this, and I gotta like, and then these doctors, who got their doctorate, and oh my god, I'm a feminist doctor, a feminist engineer. Oh, women in STEM, just. Please, yes, keep paying taxes, keep working hard, and forking over 60% of your income. And please, so this is good news. Let's just read through the stupidity. Representative Ocasio-Cortez is in her prime politically, but at age 31, she's also facing the reality of having to balance her political ambitions with a desire to have a family. It's interesting how they admit that there might be menopause.
Well, how they phrased it. Exactly. She is in her height of political, but 31. Like,
Well, you know why? Because nature is sexist. I'm sitting here. I'm like, do I freeze my eggs? Can I afford to do that? AOC's in an interview with Vanity Fair. My orthodontist was telling me about how she was doing IVF. There you go. There's another example. The orthodontist. Am I impressed if you're a dentist?
Well, to be honest, I thought that was weird. Like, the orthodontist is the teeth guy, right?
They're just, I think she was just having a conversation with someone who happened to be her dentist. Her dentist is conveying that she was doing in vitro fertilization. And I'm like asking her what her experience is like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this year, the congresswoman got a dog to force myself to not live and breathe work. See, she's working. Just let it happen, guys. Just let it happen.
Poor dog.
Well, no, the dog's probably fine, but I'm just like, wow, shock. A 31-year-old woman got a dog because she's lonely. Oh, whoa. But she said that she knows that is not the right time for a baby, despite having Congresswoman Tammy Duckworth, the first woman to give birth in office, to look up to. A woman bred. Okay. It's important for us to talk about it because women, we have to make these choices the men simply don't have to make, she said. Women's fertility. Did you know that women's fertility starts to decline around the age of 30? Did you know that, Jack?
I actually did.
I'm surprised this is even mentioned here. And this decline is steep after the age of 35, according to the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. This often leaves women trying to balance their desires for a career and a family. Because of that, more people are freezing their eggs, a process known as oocyte cryptopreservation. Younger eggs are generally healthier, more plentiful, making it easier to get pregnant and deliver a healthy baby. Conception gets harder as women age and the genetic conditions like Down syndrome become more common. Egg freezing. Now this is when I did the research for this book, talking to young Gen Z women, not millennial women, because the Gen Z, it's too late for millennial women. Egg freezing was 10 times more common in 2018 than in 2009. So in 9 years, it went up 1,000-fold. And the pandemic may have further accelerated the trend. James Grifo, program director at NU Legon Prelude Fraternity Center, told Yahoo that egg freezing increased 41% in June to September of in a quarter. It went up 41% compared to the same period in How effective? I don't care. I've gone through the numbers. Cost of freezing eggs. We're going to pay for this, by the way. You know that's going to happen. $6,000 to $10,000 for the procedure. Another $600 a year to have your eggs frozen and stored. I also know that over time, sperm stays better than eggs. Eggs have like a shelf life of 3 to 4 years, and it goes down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's not the end all be all answer. Like there were stories about women like, but I gave like 5 eggs. Well, they're all dead. Like they didn't, like a lot don't even survive the defrosting or whatever process.
But we need to invest more into education.
We need to invest more into education. The solution to the Jack, you know what the solution to this all is, Jack?
Investing in education.
More education.
More education.
More education.
More.
I still like my most brilliantly devised torpedo.
Operation
No, that's nuclear war. That's full-blown nuclear war. This is just a very simple little stealthy torpedo I developed. It cannot be detected. It will sink all the battleships in the world. It's what if all the men got vasectomies? This wouldn't be a discussion. All the power would be given to men. All this, it's my body, my choice. It's like, yeah, you're right. It's my body, my choice. Welcome to the new world. Oh, would you like some sperm? You would. Oh, okay. Well, now there's a extraction procedure we have to go through. So we can't have kids unless I decide we really, really want to. And it'd be like, and I'm just curious what that would do. Forget the power dynamics. I don't care about the struggle. I don't like using kids as footballs. What would that do to all these gals worrying about in vitro fertilization and egg freezing and all these feminists that want to have the right to abortion? It's like, well, we've taken it off the table. Now shut up and go away. Like, what would they do? What would they complain about?
Oh, they'll find something. Like,
I know.
Patriarchy about birth control or something like that. Women are oppressed in birth.
Right. Well, it's just, I'm sure they'd be making a mad dash for the sperm bank is what would happen. And maybe that's it. Maybe they go after the guys who donated to the sperm bank. Like, well, see, I know he signed it, but I just think I would like to see it in my lifetime where the majority of men get vasectomies, 16. And this is all done. We're done talking about it. There's no more arguing. We don't waste billions of human hours reading articles as stupid as this. And we just get on with our lives.
So it's the same as Emma Watson, right? What was she again? A voluntary single or something like that. I mean, she was one of the most sought after women for a while when she was at her peak. Emma Watson.
How old is she?
Now she's 30.
She's 30. She's 30.
Oh, 30.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, when she was in her 20s, she looked
Mhm.
great. I mean, a bit small on the breasticles, but
She's still an attractive young gal. But do you think? Look, it's not like she's pining to find some guy, Jack. These girls are not pining to find somebody. They are addicted to their career and the propaganda they received and their politics. And I'm just merely like, yes, please go. And on top of it, most of them are atheists that, laugh and mock people that believe in a God or an afterlife, which makes it even more tragic because it's like, well, shouldn't this really count then? Can you be so flippant and nonchalant with your youth? And it's kind of like, oh, I guess it's just Chad's right. And I think TJ is also right. And I underestimate it. There is such a monstrous tidal wave of spinsterhood coming our way. And it is going to be the greatest show on earth. Forget whatever Hugh Jackman starred in. Okay, this is going to put that movie to shame. This is going to be, and it's already kind of happened. This we're past the Shire now. Okay, this movie is starting to. All of a sudden, there's like little hints and things. Something's not right in the Shire. All of a sudden, Ocasio-Cortez has like there's something amiss. Something's wrong. And it's not like the Green Shire. We don't know. Oh, no, it's going to get real bad pretty soon. Not for us.
No,
not for us.
We're going to have a feet up.
And what's great is they're not even aware of it.
I know, right?
That's
the worst. Like, I talk to some of these
girls.
It's
not the worst. Use the right word. It's the best part of it.
Well, that's kind of true. That is kind of true. Like, I talk to these girls and they're like 21, 22-ish. And then they tell me about how they think about the world and blah, blah, blah. And I just sit there with a shit-eating grin, like, go ahead, go ahead. Oh, what do you have? And I just look at them with a shit-eating grin and tell them something you will never have. Oh, what's that? Oh, you'll see. You'll see.
It's just sit and wait, man. Just
wait. Just wait. I mean, sometimes I doubt. It's like, well, you're 30, and it's like, will it really get much better? But then it's like, well, I still got 10 years, and I didn't make a lot out of my 20s for what I had to go through. So, you know what? If we can keep this up, it's going to be great. It's going to be
along the lines with sanity. I think knowledge. I don't think anyone ever got what we wanted because what we wanted was never on the table, and we were mispropagandized into thinking what we wanted is what we want. I want to make money and become a banker and retire early. That didn't happen. But as I get older, and money really doesn't matter that much. You don't need that much. As you know, you're a minimalist as well. What I'm really starting to appreciate is things like sanity, mental health, but above all else, the knowledge. Like flying at AWAC level, which if you didn't know is a military plane that the United States uses to protect all you Europeans, so you don't have to spend your precious tech. You can spend your money on education. But you got this like bird's eye view. You are so high up and you could see everything happening, but the little ants on the ground don't know what they're doing. And I think that knowledge is very key to a high standard of living in kind of a post materialistic world or a post-materialistic society. Like once you don't care about the fancy stuff, it is just knowing why things are happening and be able to predict what's going to happen that I really enjoy. And it's the lack of concern or angst and like I can see a lot of guys and a lot of gals like, no, you got to have kids. And it's just like same thing with the election. Like this, I don't care. I'm not going to be subjected to a political election. I'm going to take action and respond to a political election and then move forward. But it's having that knowledge, like of all the people that said, well, I sit and hope the economy gets better sometime. Like I hope Barack Obama closes the racial inequality gaps. It's like, well, where'd that hope get all of you? And so it's nice. And I won't lie, there's a bit of sadism and enjoying other people's pain and suffering because of their arrogance and cockiness. Like all those 21, 22-year-old girls, I bet you they know everything, right? They're real confident in what they know, right?
They will achieve world peace. I'm not kidding. One of them said that. I'm like,
if they think that, I'm cheering on Muhammad. I'm cheering on, I am. I'm like, you know what? Let's cheer on the Russians. Let's cheer on Muhammad. Let's cheer on the Chinese. Maybe I'll even supply them with arms. Like I'd be like, no, Team Islam, let's go. I want crushing reality to come down on
Inshallah,
these
motherfuckers. Let's go.
Let's go. I was against you guys when you flew a plane into the building, but now I'm starting. At least I understand. I kind of see now. It's just $5 from SR Kid 12. Fire that torpedo, buddy. Operation Evil all the way. Well, that wouldn't be Operation Evil. Because that would be telling the truth. Look, I'm not kidding. If all men got vasectomies, we would end the vast majority of. We would eliminate all eliminatable poverty. We would.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I want to point out, I'm being deadly serious about this for everyone listening. Of course, no one listens. That makes me the best economist probably that's ever lived. Not shitting you. All right, all you fucking frauds sitting there in academia, microeconomic analysis, how do we make decisions? I just solved poverty for you. The difference between me and all these other economists is I'm bold enough to do that and say, hey, you want to eliminate poverty? Let's have all men get vasectomies, and that way only children that really the parents want to be born will be born, and we're solved. Done. Thank you, everybody. Now give me the Nobel Prize in economics, and I'll see you guys later.
I mean, I said that to somebody as well. Like, maybe people should just stop having kids they can't afford. Oh, so having kids is just for the rich. I'm like,
yeah, but see, this is again. Are you ever going to rationalize that out of them, Jack?
No.
You know who might?
No idea.
Or what might?
Already?
A visit from the Truck of Peace. I'm just thinking. Yeah, I used to be a Green Bay Packers fan. Maybe now I'm a Bears fan. I can't. The arrogance and the intellectual dishonesty and the intellectual cowardice of you just want to be. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to convince you because you obviously are going to subscribe to a lie in your feelings and emotions. And the only thing, to quote John Steele, the final arbiter of all disagreements is what?
No idea.
Oh, come on. This is the only thing he's known for.
I don't know.
The final arbiter of all disagreements is violence.
Oh.
And I'm kind of like, maybe we ought to introduce a little bit of violence. Not me, because I don't want to go to jail, but maybe Ahmed might know where there be some violence.
He probably knows some guys.
Maybe Abdul might have an opinion. And then when they come in there and it's like, I'm like, yay, Abdul. Just don't kill me.
Hey, I'm rooting for you. I have nothing to describe.
No.
If you want to talk about people who have kids they can't afford, I mean, they are a pretty big demographic of doing
that. It's nearly half the people can't afford kids. Half these kids shouldn't be born.
Remember the story I told you?
40% of the kids are born out of wedlock. So there's a starting point. But I'm sorry, continue on.
Remember the story I told you about the guy?
One time you questioned your sexuality and you thought maybe you were homosexual. And I said, that's okay, Jack. I'm proud of you. We're going to love you anyway. We respect that brain, not whose dick you want to suck. That story?
No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember
curiously erotically aroused by TJ Martinell because you two are the younger guys and maybe your dream was to go and lather each other up in oil at a gay nightclub. Was that the story?
No,
that wasn't the story.
Stop trying to couple us. It's not going to happen. No, but about the guy who married his girlfriend too quick, or actually the other way around. She wanted to get married, had kids. He's unhappy in his job, so he quit his job. He didn't even get fired. No, he quit, and they got a dog while they live in a small house. It's like, really, people.
So, what does the Netherlands state just kick in some money, like a UBI check or what?
Oh, not yet. What I've heard is she works for her parents now, and her dad is catching them.
He's Oh, but are they strong, independent? Don't need no man, fish, bicycle type people?
She kind of is. She's bloody annoying, but
okay.
Luckily I don't see them that often, and especially now, it's like, don't put me near these people. It will go wrong. It will go horribly bad.
Was this the one where like the wife got really in great shape after having kids? Is that the one, or is that a different one?
That's a different one.
Okay,
no,
so that's a different
one. Those two are great. Oh no, absolutely. They're smart, educated. The kid is great. I mean, he's got a good job. She is working part-time sometimes. as long as the kid is being taken care of.
Right.
Kid is not being dumped in daycare.
Wait, what? As long as the kid is taken care of?
I know.
Explain that I'm confused. They take care of the kid first, and then they think about themselves. Boy, that's a weird country you got going on there, Chad. Those are weird people.
Oh, these are 1 in a million. Don't worry. It's like
don't worry.
It's like a unicorn couple. I'm like, oh wow, well there's one protected at all cost. Don't let it get hurt.
Oh God. All right, Judd Grover, you forgot attention, Cappy. Whamans love the attention. I don't know how that applies to Ocasio-Cortez. I guess. I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't want attention.
Why the hell do you think she's into politics? Why are all women in politics?
No, that has not. No, I'll disagree with you there. It has nothing to do with attention. It's free money. Okay. That's what it is. If you look at Ocasio-Cortez, she has never worked a day in her life. She did work as a bartender that one time for 6 months, but after college, she got government grants to write children's books and all this dopey ass shit, and she went right into politics. It's just to avoid, and it's ego satisfaction. Like, oh, now she's a leader. Now, of course, she gets an attention fix with all the media coverage. But she did not get into politics because of attention. She got into it, so she did. Same thing with Ilhan Omar. It was a job for her, and she didn't want to work a real job. Her dad worked a real job. Her dad drove taxi the entire time, but nothing's too good for daddy's little princess. Noah Korea, $10.99, part of the $10.99 superior raise. Hey, Clary, I've been thankful for your videos, especially when it comes to life improvement and being smart with my money. Been a godsend during lockdown. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks, Noah. I got to share that with you, Jack. Damn it. And Swoon Blue for $2 says nothing, which is fine. Judd Grover again for $2. Jack Napier in Modern Life, John would ship more naturally. What?
Oh, no.
What?
No, he means yaoi.
Yaoi? What's that?
Don't look that up.
Is this like tentacle porn and then the guys over at the back loft scared the hell out of me?
It's not tentacle porn. Yaoi is God damn it, Judd.
Well, spit it out for God's sake.
It is, the erotic, the animation of the Japanese, right?
Yes.
Well, yaoi is
cartoon porn, we could say. Yes. Okay, yeah. I'm aware of it. Yes.
Yaoi is the gay variation of
that. Okay. All right.
Not with MLB. I mean, I like
he is in Japan. Yeah. Maybe he's slowly turning into an anime character.
He would work as an anime character. Of all the guys, he would work pretty well as an anime character.
He would. We could have like a red pill Japanese anime. I don't know. It'd just be a bunch of guys yelling on the internet, and then maybe we get together. And I don't know if there'd be a plot really.
Strong.
Try to think of all the anime characters of which knowledge is not universal, because there's so many. Like we all know Cowboy Bebop, right? If I said Spike Spiegel, that'd probably be the most identifiable anime character outside of Japan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But there's so many, like people keep at you. Well, you like that Clash on Titans, right?
Attack on Titan.
Yeah. Attack on Titan. Yeah. I was like, it's all right. And then there's some people that are like One Piece Pirate. They're all like, oh yeah, you got, or Dragon Ball Z. That's very huge. Goku, I guess, would maybe be the more.
Yeah. I mean, I like Dragon Ball mostly because I grew up with it. Like when you look back and you're going to nitpick about the story, you're like, oh, that really didn't make sense.
Oh, there was a story?
Well, they tried. It just looked cool.
Right. And all it was like, I will kick your ass. No, haha, I will kick your ass. Haha, little do you know that you're not going to kick my ass because I'm going to kick your ass. Ha, you think you're going to kick my ass. But because I think I tried to watch like 2 episodes. I'm like, this is horrible. And I was young too. I think I was like 23, 24. I'm like, this sucks. And One Piece Pirate was the same way. Just like that. And I'm like, look, just fight or something or move the plot along. And then everyone's like, oh my God, how come you don't like Dragon Ball Z? I'm like, how do you have that? You know what it is? Dragon Ball Z and One Piece Pirate, and Lord knows however many other Japanese anime. It's soap operas. Yeah, it's soap operas for young men. That's what it is.
Yeah.
it's like, what if you were to condense all the Dragon Ball Z fights just like to the key elements? Like this guy fought this guy and this is why he fought him. Like, what would it be? A 20 episode thing?
No, they actually did that. They
They
made
did
a
when?
yeah, they made a without the filler version. And that's about, instead of 370 episodes, I think it's about what?
70?
No, 180, I believe.
All right, so they got rid of half.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, somebody in the chat will correct me, but they cut out a lot.
Well, yeah, because it's just them talking smack to each other. So that'd be like Lord of the Rings going from what, 4 hours down to 2.
Oh wow, that would be a shame.
Well, but that's because you'd be cutting into meat. But I just want to point out, half of your lives watching Dragon Ball Z, guys, was wasted. Okay, wasted.
Was all we had back then.
Hang on, you had how many episodes? 300 something.
Yeah, like the original run, I believe, was 370. Let me look that up real quick.
All right, all right, so let's do 370. Were these half-an-hour episodes?
20 minutes, I believe.
20 minutes. All right, with or without commercial. They had commercials, right?
Yeah, later on.
Okay,
wait.
so that's
291.
All right, 291 Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you wasted 15 minutes on commercials and I will kick your ass. No, I will kick your ass. So that's 4,365. That's, hang on. Clear. 4,365. I can already tell you that's 2 and change. 2.3 years working full time divided by 40.
Oh, and Dragon Ball Z Kai went down to 167. So, damn.
Hang on, let me do the number on that again. 291 times 15 minutes. Oh, maybe I did the wrong. Okay, that's how many minutes. Now I got to divide by 60. All right, there we go. That's 2.5 work weeks. You could have taught yourself how to program something by that time. Just pointing that out. I was off by one calculation. Troy Kostalecki for $2. Thank you, Troy. And then Adriano Ramos for $2 Miss the Argentinian beef restaurants in Amsterdam. Were those big in Amsterdam?
I don't know. I don't live in Amsterdam, people. I hate them.
That's
Amsterdam is part California.
But is Amsterdam part of the Netherlands?
Yes.
It's a city. Okay, so it is the city. All right.
Capital.
It's the capital. All right. But you don't go there.
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's 3 hours away from here, and I like to keep it that way.
Is that because the roads all go like this in Europe and never go straight like they do in America?
Where they speak American. Damn it.
Well, I always listen to Piggott. Piggott's like, oh, yeah, mate's going to go drive down to Italy and hang out with people down there. And I always think like, okay, so I could do that in about, easily a day. But the roads are all, and he's going over a mountain range. I'll grant you that. It takes him something like 7.5 hours. And I just like, how? Like, Germany's not that big. It shouldn't take you 7 hours, but it does. And he of course, he drives like a grandma, but what else we got? One final thing for me to yell at, and we'll get out of here. From the BBC, new college opening with degrees with no subjects.
What?
We can just leave it at that. We don't have to go.
What? That doesn't make sense.
But Jack, what is the point? 80% of women major in stupid shit. 70% of people overall major in stupid shit. Why? What is the number one? Let me see if I can get this right. Let's test your economics. What is the economic nature of college?
To provide wisdom and value in the world.
Okay, that is its stated. What is its effective economic nature? What type of product is it?
Knowledge.
Really? Sociology degree? Knowledge?
Oh, you mean like that?
I want to know what the real, if you go and major in STEM or accounting or something, fine. Knowledge, wisdom, skill training. All right. That's an investment. What is the economic nature of college for most people?
An absolute waste.
That's why I want a very key specific economic term. There's an investment. That's what college was ostensibly supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It is not in 70% of the cases. For the 70% of people who go to college, what is the economic nature of college? It's not an investment.
I don't know the term. What's the opposite of investment?
Well, pissing away money is what it is, but
Well,
it is a luxury good. It
I
is a
know.
consumable.
Mm.
Right? It does not provide a rate of return. And when you understand that most kids go to school today as an experience and not an investment, it makes sense. And it is the richest, most expensive luxury good where you are lied to and pampered and told to believe that you're intelligent. You're like, your 21-year-old girls that you keep running into, and they're going to solve world peace. That it's almost like getting paid to be plugged into the matrix to make you think you're intelligent and you're going to matter in life and that you're going to go on and do great things. It's really living a lie. It's almost like Western World or Westworld.
Yeah, I've never seen that show. Apparently, it sucks after season 2 because then it gets SJW. It's like,
well, there's a movie. The concept is you're paying a lot of money to live out your fantasies, and that is exactly what college is. You are paying your snobby little ass. You're paying out of the ass for your snobby little ass to go and imagine you're an intellectual, or you matter, or you're going to change the world, or you're going to be successful in life. Yeah, I would almost say it's cultish and spiritual to a certain extent. And so this makes perfect sense now, where it's like, well, we're not training you to become something important. You're not going to have a job at the end of this. We've been lowering grading standards for the past 40 years. So doesn't this just make sense?
Actually, it does.
Right. It's like, hey, it's the college experience with no pretense of studying or all that annoying attending school or anything, or like thinking.
I know. I mean,
it's
at least it's so weird. And I know we shouldn't be talking about the election, things like that, but it really has come down to, we're not hiding it anymore. You can't trust us. We're fraudulent, and we only care about your money. And people are still like, well, they seem like trustworthy people. Let's give them more money. It's like, okay.
You can go up. Here's how delusional the kids are. They're K through high school, kindergarten through high school. All right. They're stuck in a prison. They're brainwashed. They got nothing else to do. We lie to them and tell them that their politics is all that matters. And we lie to them and say, you have to go to college. All right. And we really keep them oppressed, I think, in K through 12 schools. And it really is like a prison. So when they get out, the only thing left is college. And their brains are so conditioned and programmed to think like this is the end all be. Because I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I thought college was going to be like, finally, I get to get out. And this is where all the great shit's going to happen.
Mate, same here. I struggled a lot to finally get into college because they put me into the lower education and I had to work my way up. And I finally got to college. Finally, I'm now an intellectual. And I found out I'd outread them all.
Right.
And I knew more about rhetorics and debate techniques and you name it, that the majority of them, even the professors who blatantly told me, because I feel something, it makes it a fact for me. That was the moment I knew I had to quit.
Right. And I think if I look back at it in hindsight, what I should, it really is more like a Club Med or a luxury spa and resort. Because if I look back at it, you could almost see it at the coffee stores where here were these kids who thought themselves so intellectual drinking their espresso, which I think I'm going to get some, by the way, today after this. And I always envied them because, well, one, they're indoors where it was warm while I'm patrolling. And they just had like some of the comfiest clothes and they just sat there and they had these books, these thick ass books where they're just reading, like they're reading literature, or reading history, and just taking it like, I'm going to pen an idea down. And I was like, how the fuck does that translate into something that's going to help people work? And what I should have realized it then, it was a resort for them. It was a quasi retreat, cruise, but with the facade of, and mom and dad and the taxpayer paid for things, and they got to sit there. Oh, I'm just so intelligent. And I remember some of these girls, they were so, especially the guys, not so much, because most of the guys I hung out were like engineers or accountant majors or something like that. But this like superior knowledge or philosophy they had, where they're like, oh, I understand why you would think that way, or I understand why you would go to that club. Not in a condescending way, not malicious or conscious, but just this, like, I remember there was this one time I like going to this place called First Avenue, and there was moshing, and it had a man like, I could see where you go to that club. And I was like, really? Why? Well, it's just, you're the type that would mosh, you really should go to this coffee place where they have poetry slams. That like you knew better. Do you know the type of people who go to poetry slams? Do you know something about them? There's an interesting study they did on people that either participate or attend poetry slams. Do you know about what ends up happening to them?
They end up worthless and in debt and unhappy, and
they're parasites and drugged out, and they were wrong. They were wrong the entire time.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It does. And so this is this fake environment. This is like this right before sun collapses. It goes supernova. It's the biggest prize. That's it. And then these pretty much worthless people collapse on themselves and become, I don't know, a neutron star or a dwarf or whatever remains of the remnants of an exploded sun. But you don't see it while you're in it. All you can see is like, this is what and so here, I mean, we could read through it, but I think the title, the London Interdisciplinary School is opening in Whitechapel, East London. It is claimed as the first institution since the 1960s, because that was a great decade. To start from scratch with full UK degree awarding powers, the private college will be partly owned by the UK government. Does that make it private, Jack?
No.
I'll make it private. Which is part funding the project. Students will take all the combined arts and science course aimed at teaching problem-solving skills.
Oh, don't you just hate that? Like, I did HR. I'm good at communicating, so you can open your mouth and make noise. Good.
Like, God. Critical thinking courses. You mean just thinking? 6-month course on how to think.
But ask these people what an appeal to emotion is. Or an appeal to documents. They wouldn't know.
Right. As an economist, I'm like, well, the numbers say this. Now fuck off. And apparently that's wrong in college. Apparently the scientific method doesn't matter. Intake not by A levels. Rather than offering conventional degree subjects such as history or physics, there will be a single 3-year degree course focusing on global issues such as climate change with the aim of cutting across disciplines. Do you understand how this is just a luxury good for the faux intellectuals of society, like the spoiled little rotten kids who think they're going to, they're going to go there. It's kind of like adult daycare for people who want to imagine they're smart.
Yeah. Was it you who made that argument that high school never ends?
No, that wasn't me. I mean, I said college is high school version 2.0.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I meant. Like, after high school, every school or whatever institution you go to is practically the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And now and here this is really just daycare. And if you look at this picture, like there's I guess a professor, and she looks like she's literally working with mentally retarded children. Because the guy, you just look at this. I'll put it in the chat room here. Hang on. Because you just got to see it. Firstly, new provider for a generation that will be able to issue its own degrees from the onset. 100 students will pay £9,000 a year. This is expected to be formally announced later this week. Other institutions have gained degree awarding powers after a number of years and transitions in status. For instance, Dyson Institute, set up in 2017, will get degree awarding powers for next year. Ed Fido, one of the founders, says the idea of the new institution is to provide something different rather than replicate the traditional model of university education. It has to be genuinely different, or otherwise, what's the point, says Mr. Fido, who previously helped set up the School of 21 Free School in East London. There'd be no specific A-level requirements. Instead, I'm just trying to, and it's owned partly by the government. Give us your money, give us the taxpayer money, help enrich worthless professors. That's all this is. Just a. Did you hear about the University of Texas A&M? They officially started awarding degrees, or how can I? They started accepting actually mentally retarded people.
I heard about that.
For a college degree, I think in mental, tailored towards people with mental retardation.
You know what they have in the Netherlands for the actual mentally incapable, and I'm saying it nicely.
They got the prostitute per month, right?
Well, not only that, but they actually try to educate them in jobs, as in waitresses and things like that. Like in the service industry.
Right.
They help them with that. We've got, it's a horrible name, but we've got brownies with downies.
What?
Or the other way around, downies with brownies. It's a brownie coffee shop with where most of the staff is mentally, well, retarded.
Right.
But,
and then they make brownies and coffee and pastries and things. Okay, that's good.
They actually make them valuable members of society instead of giving them a college degree and putting them in debt. We're the cool ones.
They're not going to have them sitting up there with Gore Vidal and Noam Chomsky talking philosophy, really?
No, you're the heartless people over there. At least we give them jobs.
I just, and this is no different. This is, hey, we could get some government money. Hey, we could get 9,000 pounds a year out of these schmucks, and we're not going to have any standards. So come here and make believe you're an intellectual. I guess it's like the intellectual zoo or the, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like, you got to look at these idiots. Like you almost want to put a glass around this university and like, here we have some humans who think they're smart. Like talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is it. This is the school for the Dunning-Kruger effect kids.
Well, they are mentally incapable, so.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
I put a link to the brownies and downies thing in the chat, by the way.
Okay.
If you want to look at that. It's all Dutch, but.
Do you know Penn and Teller?
Yeah.
Penn Jillette. Okay, so Penn Jillette, I don't know about Teller, but Penn Jillette, he has his designated charity. And what it does is it trains people who are mentally impaired to get real functional jobs. I mean, now they're not going to be mechanics or anything like that, but it's very hard for them, you know, because what you and I take for granted, like, oh yeah, I could just change the oil. You know, someone with mental retardation cannot just do that. So they do training and they actually help these people like, okay, here's some life skills. Here's how you make some food, safety. And that's actually practical. These colleges and schools, it's like, we're going to tell you can operate at this level when you are too stupid. You can't operate at this level. Where at least where these nonprofits do actually help out those with mental retardation.
It's just evil, I guess. I mean,
it is evil. No.
Yeah, I mean, you want a good definition of evil? That's pretty much it.
It is evil. Yeah, we're gonna steal from the taxpayer and then charge these kids 9,000 pounds for them to imagine they're smarter than they really. But again, I've said that about 70% of college students. That's what you're doing. You're going to college to make believe you're smart.
I mean, the amount of times I talk with these girls and guys, and it's like, well, at least I live on my own in a dorm. You take out a loan to be able to pay a crappy small room you have to share with 3 other people. And you want to call yourself independent? Everything is bought and paid for by the state. You're not independent. You're a parasite. I know,
what happens when you tell them that, Jack? What's the result?
I mean, I can bang my head against the wall. That would make more sense.
You got to say it like you're smoking a cigarette and you just don't give a shit. Okay?
Like Spike Spiegel.
Like Spike Spiegel. Well, you're just a parasite then, I guess, living off the taxpayer. You know, it's like, you do know. It's like, well, you're just a parasite living off the taxpayer. And not the two-finger, you do the like. Did you see the movie, Cowboy Bebop, the movie?
I did. I love a woman who can kick my ass.
Yeah, but then at the end, where him and Vince are going at it, he just takes a drag off the cigarette. It's all bent, and then he just flicks it at him, and he gets up. Like, that's so badass. So badass.
It's just a small thing.
See, but they took the time to do that, and there was no dragged out dialogue. Like, it went. It was just brilliant. Just brilliant.
I know.
Try to get my mom to watch Cowboy Bebop. Do you know what it's like trying to get a boomer to watch Cowboy Bebop?
You know what it's like to get a boomer to watch anything or read? Let them try to read. By God. Oh, wait. There's one more super chat above that one.
What we got?
About
there is?
6.
Oh. Judd Grover for $2. Facts and feelings are like oil and water. They don't mix. Yep. I do like pointing out things. See, you know why they get upset, though, Jack?
Because we think we can help.
No. why they get upset, not
Or
us.
why they? Because
when you
they
point
know.
out a fact, they know.
They know.
That's what. And just,
Deep down inside.
I like to take the mirror, like, look at yourself. All right, I know you're upset. I know. Re.
Yeah.
All right, young Sykes. Yeah, Cappy, they got me with that lie too. I presume he means college. Oh, wait, hang on. Juan, the Aztec patriarch. When I first went to my local community college, I was shocked at the level of arrogance the students had. They all felt superior because they were intellectual. Exactly. I taught at the yeah.
I mean, when you ask a couple of these guys, like, what did you read and things like that? All fantasy novels, all thriller novels. It's like any philosophy, maybe any actual literature, maybe. No, just these cheapskate fantasy novels and thrillers.
Not Dostoevsky.
No. Although Demons is not that great to read, in all honesty. But you have only read like 2 books or something like that.
I've only read 5 books or maybe 10 books.
You still remember which ones?
I read The High King Pentology by Lloyd Alexander, like The Black Cauldron, The High King. I read The Black Snake, which was a 65-page book, probably written for 4th grade level, about a black snake and how he was born and what he ate. It was an educational book about the black snake. I read these pretty bad series called like 1992, 1993, 1994, 1995 about kids in high school fighting a revolution. It was dumb. No, I think that's about, I mean, really, I don't think I've read, I'm sure maybe I got a book or 2 in there.
Way of Men, Pushing Rubber Downhill.
That's work. I'm talking all, no, I'm being serious. That doesn't count. Like, I mean, yeah, I've read probably hundreds of books because I had to read economics books and finance books and college books and high school books. But for fun reading, I've probably read less than a dozen books. But usually, it's usually because I'm doing a review or doing something else. And if I ever do read a book, it has to be taken in audiobook. I'm not going to sit down and waste my time in a chair reading. I do enough of that writing. Writing you can't do while you're running. You have to imprison yourself into a chair and do nothing else. And that really goes against my nature and my personality. So
even though, like, can't you make up the mental hurdle, like me sitting here creates wealth?
Yes, I know why, and that's why I bang it out. That doesn't make it. Look, I'd rather be doing a billion other things than sitting there trying to choose what word do I want to use. Is it going to be an adjective or an adverb? Does this read right? The constant polishing. It's a pain in the ass. It's one of the most unenjoyable things I think in my life. Whereas podcasting is easy. I don't have to choose my words all precise. It's not this finalized product. Like, it's serving slop up to you animals. Like, here's your damn food, you dirty, filthy animals. Whereas a book, you got to like, okay, that was really well written. And this is why I kind of like my seminars even more. Because with that minimalism course, it took me 2 weeks to put that together. Would you say that's a lot of time? It is, but do you know what it takes to write a book on minimalism? When you're doing a seminar, you're allowed to have an and or a huh or or ho. You're speaking. You're allowed to speak, which is way more efficient than perfectly crafting the perfectly written sentence. And so it's that level to detail that I hate.
I can imagine. But I mean, you even got sharply dressed for that seminar.
I combed my hair, Jack. I even put on a button-up shirt. That was
the only one you have 20 years ago.
Anyway, to talk to what Juan's point was, when I taught college at the 2-year crap community college, it was amazing to me. Like, I knew they weren't the smartest or the brightest because that's why they're in kind of this remedial college. But they were all so convinced they were so intelligent. And all these people managed to do, keep in mind, this is 18 years ago. These people were paying $37,000 a year to go to these shit-ass colleges. they got degrees that were not credentialed, not certified or accredited. And most of them just ended up going back to the trailer park that they came from. And at first I was very angry with these kids because they were just the most disrespectful, worthless pieces of shit. But then it dawned on me, they're 70 grand in debt and they actually think they're gonna and they're not any more capable than being a waiter or a waitress. And they're not capable of being a good waiter or waitress, which requires humility and professionalism, where you could actually make some good money. They're arrogant, self-absorbed assholes. And I really wish I could find, I don't think there was ever a yearbook or anything like that, but I really wish I could find some of these people on the internet and see what happened to them.
Oh, that would be nice.
Because, it'd be great. Just great to see these worthless pieces of shit. I'm sure I'm paying for them.
I mean, I envy my brother sometimes because he kept mentioning to me, like, quit studying, get a job. But the way he put it, and he was a bit physical sometimes, where it was like, I'm not listening to you. But he, as soon as he got, I remember this so well. He finished high school, and we have this thing in the Netherlands where you're being forced to go to a school at least till you're 18. So he finished high school at about because the lower level of education, you finish around 16, 17. So he had 1 to 2 more years to go. He picked the easiest thing right up his alley. He raced through it, got his big driver's license, like his truck license.
Yeah.
He went on doing that. When he's 30, he's on his second mortgage because he paid the first one off, demolished the house, and building a new one. Like, I don't talk to him a lot, but when he told me that, I was like, by God, man, you were right. You should have hit me harder.
Yeah.
I should have listened more.
I'll give you a little inside baseball. So Elkham's, one of the reasons, not the only one, but one of the reasons I went from 0 to pissed off before I even got out of bed is nothing to do with chat. Had nothing to do with chat. But a gal that he met on the internet sent in this text to him that she found him on one of my shows, and she was offended. And how dare he sing the song Girl from Ipanema because of the Brazilian descent that she is. You can't end it with the song with the word booty. And I'm reading, and she's like, "Why? I agree with your right to do it, but it's your tone that you say it in." And the reason I got pissed is because, bitch, here's the fucking truth. And you bitch about the goddamn tone. It's like, here's the vaccine for the COVID. Oh, but I don't like the color of the needle. The people in the Western society are so spoiled that you bitch about the tone. And I just like, oh, where's Muhammad? Where's Ahmed? Goddamn, not gonna bow east 5 times a day, but I might salute east. Just like, how you doing, guys? Like, maybe I won't pilgrimage to Mecca, but maybe I'll take a look and wave. Just kind of. If I gotta choose between a guy's like, I hate your guts because you're an infidel and we're gonna kill you, versus I don't like the tone and I'm really offended, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go have a beer or maybe tea. Because Muslims don't drink alcohol. I'm gonna buy the Muslim who comes up to my face says, I don't like you, I want to kill you because it's in my book. Okay, you're honest. But this slimy, slithery, backstabby, two-faced Kuanta, haha. The tone. This long. Fucking text this long. And I'm like, oh.
I know. I mean, Muslim Twitter is going to have a field day with this. There's, you have Abu American.
Abu American. Look, there are.
He's great.
Conservative.
He's great.
Yeah, there are non-radical Muslims that, yeah, Abu American, and there's, they did a documentary of Islamic U.S. soldiers like, no, I'm fighting in this war to free my country, man. So it runs the gambit.
No, but that's what I meant, because there's another one, Father Sakh of Ska. I can't remember the exact name, but they keep telling me, "Come over to our side, Jack. You know it's the future." It's like
your women don't have lip, do they? It's kind of like,
oh no, you saw my show with Abu American?
Send it over to me. I'll download and listen to it.
Oh, that one was pretty neat.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll find. Is it like Red Evening, Abu American? Can I find it?
I think it's number 65.
Right, I'll find it. I'll find it. But it just, I'm looking at that, and this slithering little fork-tongued woman, just like, I'm just innocent. So like, oh, shut up and get out of here. Just the lying to my face, the two-face just pissed me the fuck off, and she wasn't even lying to my face. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the tone is. It's like, here's the truth. Do you want it or not?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the same in corporate. I even told my boss that, by the way, which was funny because, well, him and I see eye to eye, which is pretty great. He's far more conservative than I thought.
Right.
So as soon as I found that out, I could slid in my opinion a bit more.
I don't want opinion at the work. That's why I was like, listen.
No. But what was it again? They wanted me to come back to work because they saw an email I didn't do well or something like that, and I was like, really, you can't do this digitally? Like, really, I have to go back for that? But later on, of course, he was there as well, which was fun because I always like seeing him. But I told him, like, I would rather have you tell me come back because I want to, then, well, maybe it would be better if you come back because of the blah, 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 blah. Because in the first option, it's like, well, you're my boss. I listen. Fine. Good. We see eye to eye. But the other one is like, what do I have to do with this? Like,
I'm writing the assumptions. I already wrote the part of analyzing the ROI of the pursuit of women. And one of the disclaimers of the assumption I put is this is written and intended for a male audience. And in being so is blunt, direct, and does not waste time beating around the bush. If this causes umbrage or offense, it was not meant to, but keep in mind, we do not have the time to beat around the bush. It is right there. We do not have the time to be, or to have anything lost in misinterpretation. And it's just like, I just do not have the time for this Orwellian psychopathic backstabby speech these hypocrites have. I just do not have it.
I said it to once. No, go ahead.
Oh, just going to go through the super chat. Daniel Patton, 5 Mexican pesos, 50 pesos. I think it's $4 or $5. What's the best choice between living in Mexico, Canada, or Spain for the next years? I am not a fan of Canada. It's cold. And we had academic composition. Alexei lived in Mexico, and I think he went to Spain. And I would go Spain. Climate's kind of not as hot as Mexico, but it's nice, very nice. More stable, nowhere near the crime as Mexico. Mexico, I'd choose last, unless you had family or connections there. Canada would be second, but I'd live in the British Columbia area, Vancouver, something where it's not so horrifically cold. Summer is great in British Columbia and Alberta. That's wonderful. But I'd go with Spain. I don't know. Check all three of them out, Daniel. Tell us what you find out. I'd like to know too.
Yeah.
Boom. That's it. I'm out of here. Thanks for coming on shortly, Jack.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being more masculine than the masculine geeks and all the other people. What do you mean in 30 minutes? I gotta get a little schedule and put it in. Read.
I was sick at home anome.
Good.
Boomer priests at my door, like
right. Well, I'm sorry that you're not going to live that long with the Wuhan flu you got there, man. I mean, it's been great knowing you.
Keep that audio recording. It's going to be worth something one day. It's like my channel will explode after my death.
Yes, after he dies, right? Because you're like, what, 5 minutes away from death, right?
Yeah, 4 by now. 4. It's like Dragon Ball Z, 5 minutes.
Yeah. Tell people where they can find you.
Jack Napier, Red Evening on YouTube.
That's it?
Yeah.
You got a podcast?
Yeah. With Rab.
Let me tell you something, Jack. I love listening again. Let me tell you something, Jack. I fucking love Rob.
I just loved how him and I interacted. Like the first episode was like, because Red Evening started with me solo, And then him and I did a book review, and I was like, well, I'm starting a podcast on Friday. Want to come on? And he never left.
Rob's awesome. Rob's cool. He's reliable, man. He does this stuff. So.
Rob is a very good guy.
All right, take us out.
Toodles.